Well, good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana weather. Just wanted to give you a brief severe weather update this morning. It is 5:52 a.m. Eastern Time, 4:52 a.m. Central Time, and we have the risk of severe weather today. Wanted to do a video quickly this morning to give you the latest on what to expect, and then later today, of course, I'll be active doing sort of a nowcasting type of thing as the event rolls through. So this will help you hopefully plan your day a little bit better. Today's video, again, sponsored by High Voltage Mobile DJ Service. Check them out on the web at djhighvoltage.com, and you see the number on your screen. Give Nathan a call, all right? Storm Prediction Center has kept us under a slight risk for severe weather. They did not up it to a moderate risk, and reasoning for that is they're questioning the instability that we may have this afternoon. The models have been progging pretty good instability, but I tend to agree with them the more I take a look at the model data this morning, especially the way future radar looks. I'm questioning whether we're going to get some of that sun this afternoon or not. Now, any sun that we get this afternoon is going to be a bad thing. I still think we've got the risk for some damaging winds today, even if we don't get a ton of sunshine this afternoon. So we'll take you through it and go through everything. Here's what you saw yesterday, and it's a very similar. The yellow hatched area here is the 15 risk, which is the beginning of the slight risk zone. So anything in this yellow is in the slight risk for severe weather, and you can see it's just huge and encompasses really a whole large section here, and really almost most of Indiana, from points just north of Indianapolis and south, are underneath of the risk. The red here is the 30% hatch for severe weather, and this is, of course, the upper end slight risk. And then everything that's shaded in the blue here is the what they call the significant severe weather event. Basically, it just means there's a 10% probability of a significant severe weather event happening within 25 miles of any point in that little blue area. So take that for what you want it to mean when you say significant. That's a vague term, I understand, but just understand that that's what they're zeroing in on, is this is where we think the greatest threat will lie. So don't, as I said yesterday, don't take this as just exact. This is just the gospel, and you have to go with it. This is exactly where the bad weather is going to happen. Really, we are all under the gun, whether you call it a moderate risk, whether you call it a slight risk, whether you put us in the significant or the 30%. We're going to have a damaging line of thunderstorms move through tonight, and possibly some isolated thunderstorms ahead of it that could go severe as well. And it's going to be rough today, folks. All right. Let's talk about winds today, too. SkyTracker HD right now, there's a few storms already popping up here. Those rolled through overnight. We'll take a look at that here in a second. But the big thing I want you to see is all the area is underneath of a wind advisory this afternoon, and it is going to be extremely windy. 15 to 25 mile per hour sustained winds this afternoon, and gusts up to 35 this morning possible, up to 45 mile per hour gusts this afternoon, and that's outside of thunderstorms. So it's going to be very windy. The green up here, by the way, is a flash flood watch, okay? And they are also underneath of a wind advisory. It's just that the flash flood watch takes priority on what gets thrown on top. So keep that in mind today. We'll likely go under some sort of a severe thunderstorm or tornado watch this afternoon as well, and we'll bring that to you as it comes. 70s are looking more and more likely today. Here's really quickly what the high temperatures are for today according to our high-res model. And it takes us up to mid-60s to north of the Ohio River to close to 70 along the Ohio River. Even mid-50s and close to 60s by the time you push from Bloomington, Indianapolis as well. So, we're talking about a very warm day here, very unseasonably warm. So we got a lot of moisture and energy to deal with here, especially the wind energy. Let's look at future radar. Here's the rain that moved through overnight. And you can see that line of thunderstorms develop during the afternoon hours. Starts to push a kind of a heavier rain threat ahead of that line. We'll have to see whether any of that goes severe or not. You can see here as we go throughout the day, there are some isolated little storms that start to pop up here and there. Those are the ones this afternoon especially that we're going to have to watch, because if those end up firing ahead of the main line, those are the ones that really could go into the supercell structure and produce the tornadoes. The threat with the actual line itself, as far as tornadoes, are probably a little bit less there. I think it's more of a damaging wind threat as far as that goes. Damaging hail, I'm not seeing as a huge threat in this one either. Flooding rains are certainly going to be a possibility, and with especially areas more towards the north where you've got that heavier snowpack that's already melted. If you've looked at your small streams and creeks, then you know that a lot of them are very full or overflowing already. So any rain that we get, and we're talking maybe an inch and a half of rain potentially with this line tonight, or maybe even more in some spots, that could have a very real effect on flooding. So keep that in mind. That's going to be one of those things that we're going to have to deal with Timing wise of it, here we are at 5 o'clock, and you see the line is still out in St. Louis, but again, you've got some of these storms starting to pop up ahead of the line. So really any time this afternoon from say 2 or 3 on, we're going to have to start to look out for those lone thunderstorms that would pop out. Then the main line will roll through a little bit later this evening. The NAM, the high-res NAM here doesn't even take it to the river, the Wabash River, until 7 o'clock. So it's going to be a late evening hour type of thing before this rolls through, unfortunately. A couple of other future radars that we could look at as well are in similar agreement here. Here's what the NMM says. Again, you got a few of those thunderstorms popping up ahead of the line. Line here of severe thunderstorms, it's rolling through the river about 9 o'clock though, so it's even later before it comes through. And here we go with the ARW. Again, same type of thing. With this, you notice there are a lot more, the potential for a lot more cells ahead of it. So this model is thinking that we could end up with that more so than the others. Again, that's one of those things that we're going to have to watch. The line comes near the Ohio River about 7, near the Wabash River rather here, about 7 o'clock. But with those but with those isolated storms ahead of the line, again, that's the ones that we're really going to have to watch out for, the tornado threats. If you go and talk about the tornado threats over on SPC's website, here's their latest categorical outlook again. I showed you the zoomed in version on Google Earth so that we could see the counties a little easier, but again, the whole area under a slight risk. The wind is what the big threat is, and that's why the significant is underneath of the wind with the 30% hatch here surrounding most of us. But if you take a look at the tornado threat, they've actually outlined all of us with at least a 2% threat of a tornado and then a 5% threat here for some of our far southwest Indiana counties, basically where you see that upper end slight risk go through. So it can't be ruled out. I don't see this as a big tornado outbreak day, thankfully, but it's something that we can't rule out. And then, of course, if we look at hail, as I said, the hail probabilities are to our west, so I'm not worried about that overall today. So that's pretty much the way things are setting up for today. If we take a look at the current radar, for those of you that are interested, you can see the heavy rain that started to move through. Overnight hours here a little bit. You've already got some building to the west. Expect this to build up a little bit more, and we'll watch this and post radar updates throughout the day as it goes through. So if I put this into motion, you can see sort of how this is moving. And that's pretty much going to be the motion of what we see today. The line will sort of develop out in here and then start to race its way up like this as it moves through. So again, unseasonably warm weather today, and it comes with price. So we take a look at the 7-day forecast, southernindianaweather.com. Again, mostly cloudy today. We may see a few peaks of sunshine this afternoon. That is questionable whether or not we'll see that. High around 66. If we do get some sunshine, 70 would certainly be in play. 100% chance of rain today. Wind advisory, again, severe weather expected, so keep that in mind. Down to 35 tonight. And then we got some pleasant weather to deal with for the weekend. All right. So that is it for today. Be sure to go to southernindianaweather.com, and you can get your interactive radar here as well. You can track that line of thunderstorms as it moves through today with us. Like us on Facebook as well, facebook.com/southernindianaweather, and I'll be keeping you posted with the latest this afternoon. As soon as the watches and warnings are issued, they'll go up on Facebook, and we'll be live tracking these things as it goes. All right. That is it for this morning's video. Hope to see you all and interact with us on Facebook today. For Southern Indiana Weather, I'm Meteorologist Michael Wilhite.